Good morning. It is Monday, the 2nd of August, and I'm in the Read Nook at 8 o'clock in the morning. Basically catching up with some of the parcels I've got to unbox. And I, of course, have a nice hot cup of tea. It is RPG a day, day 2, so I hope you've been participating in that and enjoying that. And of course, it's post UK Games Expo where I was this weekend. Had a great time, caught up with some friends, made some interesting purchases, and got lots of titles to review. Some of which I will be doing unboxings on, but all of which I will be writing up in the very near future. But what have I got next here in the pile of titles to review? It is this, and if you have a look at the logo there, you'll recognise the publisher because I've had things from him before. This has come from Portugal, so therefore Games Omnivorous, who publish OSR style content, and the most notably the Mausritter role-playing game, which if you've not seen, I thoroughly recommend. It's a lovely little game. I did edit it, so I am biased, but it's got lots of flavour and feel to it. And what have I got here? I have an adventure for that game. I honestly didn't know what was in here, and this is Vitacernis, compatible with Mausritter. So what you've got is basically a cutout of basically a sheet of cutout counters, which essentially the mice in Mausritter have to carry, and they got limited encumbrance. And the fantastic thing is that their encumbrance spaces also doubles essentially as their condition counter. So if you're a mouse and you're exhausted, you gain the exhausted counter, and that goes into your encumbrance, meaning basically you can't carry less, you can't do as much. Let's have a look inside. This module details the mouse village of Ruby Grove, surrounding the mysterious ground maple called the Vitacernis. It is a joint landmark, the Vitacernis settlement, Ruby Grove, an adventure ready to be inserted into any hex crawl. However, feel free to change any detail that doesn't make sense for your table, cherry pick interesting items, character stories or locations for your own campaign, or come up with your own answers for the mysteries of the Vitacernis. For a short adventure, give a brief background about the village, but leave out basically a couple of the NPCs, start the adventures of the tunnel entrance to the Viscount's Keep. For starting a campaign, start the same as above, or start the PCs as citizens of Ruby Grove and so on. For hex crawl, use the Vitacernis and Ruby Grove as a landmark and settlement respectively, or alternatively use Ruby Grove as a settlement full of characters to meet and establish, to visit, and ignore the adventure entirely. So you've got a flexible little book here. Essentially, and there's room in here specifically designed for the GM to add content of her own. So here's the layout. You've got inside basically a list of NPCs, a guide to how to use the module there, before we get into the description of Ruby Grove and its locations. Notable NPCs, nicely done here. I like that very much. Basically, full list of NPC, nice little illustration, portrait at the top. You get a feel for what they're like just from the pictures, and they're nice and characterful. Basically lots of flavour to them. And then you have some background about the truth of Evil Warren and the seed of the adventure. And a map, essentially locations and Ruby Grove and so on. I don't need anything more than that because I'm literally just opened it. And very nice inside the Vitacernis, and the locations, basic descriptions. I'm not quite sure. Oh, basically these are locations here, I believe, and you're building up out from as you go exploring, I believe. and the links and so on, going through location by location, each given a fairly minimal, brief description, but I think there's enough description of content there for the GM to work off. And then we come out to some NPCs, Quercus the Great, Lieutenant Osric, X-Mouse, animated skeleton, Queen Sarah, I don't know what's happened to her, and the Aftermath. And then we come on to the bestiary, and basically the monsters and creatures you'll encounter in the adventure, and items, spells, and conditions. So yeah, also basically the other thing about it is that, as well as so essentially what the mouse does is it's got spaces for his equipment, but if he casts spells, one of those takes up that slot as well. Essentially, it's a case of, okay, it's his memory, he's got to concentrate on that and use that up. And there's a treasure table in the back. So that is the Vitacernis, an adventure for Mausritter. Looking forward to digging into that because I really do like Mausritter. It's a really lovely, charming little OSR style role-playing game in which you play adventurous mice who are very, basically as mice are. They can't take a lot of punishment. They're quite fragile, but they're brave, and they're going to try and survive through to the end. Doing the best for their community. And it's essentially the OSR sort of like equivalent answer to Mouse Guard, which itself is a great game, and it's based upon a great comic strip, also called Mouse Guard. But that's a bit more procedural and a bit more depth to it in terms of its mechanics. Mouse Guard is not, and there's lots of little scenarios for it available, and this is the latest one from Games Omnivorous, so I want to thank Andre for sending me a copy to review, and that goes into the review queue fairly soon, because it's really these are nice to write about. Anyway, thank you very much for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, please do hit that like button down below. I do appreciate that. Just as I appreciate it if you take the time to add a comment or feedback. I do respond to those. And lastly, of course, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me with parcels and book or adventure or something, which I will talk about for roughly 10 minutes, as knowledgeable as I can, and also enjoy a nice hot cup of tea, then please hit that subscribe button down below, and you'll be alerted to a video appearing almost every day these currently. In the meantime, thanks again for watching, and I'll be back again with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.